Hello everybody, welcome here or welcome back, whatever the case may be. We've got some magical forest music playing in the background, and I am having my big latte bowl of coffee. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. It is sunny out, there are clouds in the distance, but in the sun there are snowflakes coming down, so it's kind of like a rain shower, and a sun shower rather, where you have the rain with the sun. Here we have some snow falling with the sun, and it just doesn't happen that often, so it's sort of a little bit of a magical experience when it does. Now, I have nothing in particular that I was going to talk about today. I just decided to have some coffee and I need to do something at the computer. So since I'm sitting here anyway, I figure might as well say hello and good morning and good day to my friends, family, and those interested enough to be here. Probably going to have to apologize for my appearance today. It is what it is. I haven't done anything to get ready yet today. So I've just got the hat on, the jacket on. It's too warm to have anything underneath the jacket. It is a really nice day today. I have nothing that I could possibly complain about unless I just really wanted to complain. And I try really hard to avoid finding things to complain about. I will tend to overlook little minor inconveniences even though I shouldn't. I have a lot of people saying very negative things to me online, which I find more amusing than anything, because I still say, in order to take the time to go and comment something negative about something you're not interested in, I don't know, that's just really weird. I just can't imagine wasting my time that way. So if that is something that people genuinely enjoy doing, there's a reason for it. So I don't know why people are so obsessed with me, right? Because the people that are interested in me are not obsessed with me. The people who are not interested in me apparently are very obsessed with me. So I don't understand how it works that way. So I think they're just telling on themselves. They're just telling that these are the things that we really, really are interested in, but we can't let people know we're interested in it, so we're going to pretend really hard that we're not. And we're going to say these nasty things so people know that we're not. And all that tells me is they really, really are. And I just think that's, well, it's sad and it's pathetic and it's pitiful, but it's also hysterically funny. But anyway, that's just how I feel about that kind of thing. But I certainly really, really appreciate the kind words, even the critiques that are genuine. They're just trying to help me improve what at least they believe I'm trying to do with these videos and things that I put out. And I really genuinely appreciate that. That is really, really sincere from right here deep inside of me, that I genuinely appreciate everybody's help and guidance and assistance and love and support and caring, friendship. All of those things mean the world to me. But the way all of the support makes me feel is beyond description. And I really genuinely appreciate each and every person that takes the time to comment on my videos. Now, I don't think of what I have here as a channel per se. I've recently started trying to wrap my brain around that aspect of it. What it has always been to me for almost 2 decades now. I don't know how long I've been on YouTube. Gosh, probably 15 years. It's been 15 years that I've been on YouTube. I don't know. I lose track. And it's always been a scrapbook for me. I just have little clips and things like that of parts of my life, and I would put them up on YouTube and Facebook. Those are the only two things I really use. I have an Instagram. I have a TikTok. I don't ever go on those. I tried a couple of times and it's just not for me. It's I'm very, very happy with my YouTube and Facebook. That is all I really need. So I'm not probably ever going to really be on Instagram or TikTok, because if I was, I'd probably already be there. But you never know. The right kind of encouragement and support, and I could change my mind. I never thought I'd be doing this. Not in a million years. I thought I would just store these things for when I get old and don't remember, and my mind is going. And I say that now because my mother has dementia, and there's a lot of things in her life she doesn't remember ever doing. And it's sad because some of them were really important to her. So I thought this way, if somebody's saying, oh, well, remember that time that you did this, and remember this dog you had, and remember when you went here, remember this show you did, remember you used to wear makeup. All of these things, if I go in my head and go, I never did any of that, which is what my mom does. She's very adamant about going, I never did that. And she gets very mad at you if you insist she did things she doesn't remember doing. I will have all the proof documented, and I will be able to watch it on YouTube and see the things on Facebook and stuff like that. And it will prove all of these things about myself that I may someday not remember. And I may never, ever get into that position, because even if it's hereditary, I was adopted. So I don't know what my history is medically and physically, and I guess medical, physical, mental, all of that stuff. I really couldn't tell you what is genetic within me. I have no idea whether I have a history of heart disease in our family or anything. So anything that happens to my parents, it's no reflection on what may or may not happen to me. But I still might go through those things for various separate reasons. So I thought, I'm going to have this stuff up on there, and I'm going to remember it one way or another. And then someday, when I'm long deceased, this will still exist in the world somewhere, showing other people that, hey, this was me. Not very important, not really care. I'm sure people think, oh, what an attention hog. I'm really not. I don't care that I get attention. I know that just my existing, being myself, is going to command a certain amount of attention, whether I like it or not. So I just accept it. I don't seek it out. It's why I don't have a monetized channel. I'm not trying. I've never been trying to grow my channel specifically or purposefully. I allow things to develop organically, naturally, the way they're supposed to. That is how I am exactly who I am. I have arrived at this organically, naturally, and no matter what people say, I know exactly 100% the truth. And if other people don't want to believe that, that's their problem. It has nothing to do with me. People are entitled to be as wrong about as many things as they want to be. I just try really, really hard not to be wrong. I've been wrong about many things, and then I learn, and then I grow, and then I reevaluate, and I move forward, and that, I think, to me, is a normal progression. And then I see some people, and they stick their heels in, and things move forward, and then there's the science that backs it up, and they're going, no, science proves me right. And I'm like going, but it doesn't. You actually have to ignore science to believe that. So anyway, things are what they are. Oh, I put a drop or two of my real vanilla in there. That's how I make my flavored coffees. If I want pumpkin spice coffee, I throw some pumpkin spice into my coffee. It's the simple way of doing it, although, just so you know, a lot of the spices in pumpkin spice, like cinnamon and things like that, are hydrophobic, which means they will not mix in with your liquid. They will float on top. Sometimes you can suspend them in things, but they are hydrophobic, which does not mean that cinnamon has a fear of liquid. It just means that it doesn't mix with it. I don't know what else there is to talk about today. I'm sure there's plenty of things. Should I look at my notebook? Maybe I'll pull up my notebook and see if there's a topic for discussion in here. Because I have lots and lots of things in here. I write in this all the time. This is where I put my ideas, my story ideas. I write out scripts. It's just something I carry around with me so that I can do these things. So I have YouTube vid ideas, discussion topics. So I had an idea of like where if people were interested in what it was like being gay when I was discovering my sexuality, because that was back in the 70s and 80s, late 70s, early 80s. And, you know, it was a very different time then. However, that may not be of any interest to people. So I'm just putting it out there. If people want to know, we'll do it. I already discussed that I'm a hairstylist, so, you know, in another video. So I don't really need to go into that again. And I shouldn't say was a hairstylist. I am a hairstylist, current. And I certainly am, you know, nowhere near retiring. I love what I do. And when you spend your life doing things that you love doing, you don't feel you're working a day in your life. And that's kind of where I'm at. I never feel like I'm working. I've been living feeling like a retired person since I was 35. Because ever since I turned 35, I only do things that I enjoy. I do not waste any time doing things that I don't enjoy. And that has made things that I do for work and employment not feel like work at all. Yeah, this is just an extension in an online form of how I live my life. That's really all this is. In real life, I bond with people. I make friends with strangers all the time. There are people that will give me weird side eyes, and I smile and wave and keep going on with my life because their unhappiness has zero bearing on my existence, and I prefer to keep it that way. I don't feel that it's my job to go around and make people feel okay. That is up to them. Some people I've discovered absolutely want to be miserable, and no matter what you do, they will still twist things around to be miserable. And there's nothing you can do about that. Don't waste your energy. Don't waste your, mental capacity. Just let them be who they are. Know who they are. Support them where you can, and live your life to the fullest. What did they say? What did somebody say? The best revenge is a life well lived. And if that is true, then my life has wreaked revenge on so many people that I don't even think about. But that's another thing. Oh yes, the only thing that really is different online that I don't have in real life is in real life I do not have the inclusion of anonymous online cowards. Right? Anybody that's coming up to me in real life is certainly not a coward. Anyone that is commenting anonymously on my channel saying anything negative, they are the most cowardly people in the world. There is no other way to look at it, because there's not a chance in hell anybody would be stepping to me in real life, all 6'3", 225 pounds of me, and saying the things that they're saying online. They just feel, they feel like they've got some protection when they're online. And the reality of it for me is there is nothing that they can say that I'm going to take seriously, because the opinion of an anonymous online coward has absolutely zero merit to the real world. Right? It's just an opinion that lives in a void. And I just think it's funny because they think they've accomplished something. They think they've said something. They think they've done a gotcha. There's no gotchas to be gotten online, right? Like it's silly. It's just so incredibly silly and funny and entertaining. And I wish they realized just how entertaining they are to me. and just how much joy they bring me by being absolutely nasty, because I know that that proves that they are far more interested or more likely jealous than anything else. And it's proof, it's absolute proof, because people that don't like something don't focus on it that way. They move on to the things that they do like. They do not go around going, I've got to express my opinion to say that trans people suck. And I'm like going, well, fortunately I'm not trans, so it doesn't apply to me. Or, the thing that I get the most of, it puts the lotion on its skin. And I'm thinking, well, that's hilarious. If you want to wear a lotion, wear a lotion. I don't have to tell anybody to put lotion on their skin. But quite often I will say, I will go, yes, I take this lotion. I put it on my skin. I don't know where the negativity is supposed to be. I get that it's a Silence of the Lambs thing. And then somebody will come up and say, oh, you put the lotion in the basket. I'm thinking, well, that's your job, right? If I'm Buffalo Bill, you're the one that has to put the lotion in the basket. You're the one that's asking for the hose, right? So why you come to my channel asking me to give you the hose? That's just kind of weird, isn't it? I think that's very weird and very telling. But that's the kind of amusement I get from these anonymous online cowards. It is just too funny for words. Oh, that's the other thing, yes. Much like Schrodinger's cat, I do not assume anybody's sexuality at all, one way or the other. I am so frequently wrong. I've thought people fit into categories that I believed I already knew. But I did not understand when I was growing up that we didn't have anything that was discussed of pansexuality or any of those kinds of things. So we had gay, straight, occasionally bi. And gay, when I was younger, actually included lesbians and everything else. It wasn't until the 80s that distinction seemed to have to get made. I'm not sure why. Well, I mean, I kind of do. After the fact, I kind of realized why. That lesbians didn't seem to be included when things said gay. It just seemed to be that the men thought it was all about them. And so you went to a gay bar and the ladies didn't feel as included as they should or deserve to be. So I do understand from that respect that they needed to separate gay and lesbian. It was just a weird thing to come up because lesbian was gay at one point. Like that was the same, right? Lesbian. So maybe they should have just come up with another name for gay men as opposed to just gay, and then everybody could have just still been gay. I don't know, but that's kind of where it came from. Is lesbians did need to feel included, and they weren't being included because even within minority groups of people, there are cliques and subgroups and people saying, you don't belong with us. Trans people, the same thing. Like there are gay people that don't think trans people should be included in the LGBTQ2S plus community. And I think that's ridiculous. I am willing to create a category for straight people within the LGBTQ2 plus community, just for the allies. Because eventually when every single person fits into the alphabet, we don't need it anymore. And I'm trying to push to get to there. I want us to not need all of these distinctions. Why can't we all just be human beings? It doesn't make any sense to me that there has to be all these segregations. Now, knowing who you are and understanding who you are is good. Like, I don't mind trying to figure out who I am. I will put myself into certain boxes. But I find that as I get older, the more I look into these individual boxes, the more I don't actually fit in any of them. Or I fit in all of them. That doesn't make a very effective filing system when you're trying to figure yourself out, but it's a good starting place. I'm at the state now where I'm just a human being existing. I don't wear women's clothes. I don't technically think of wearing what I wear as men's clothes. They are my clothes. But I do know that I'm a man. I don't think of myself as anything other than a man. And therefore, everything I put on my body are my men's clothes, my men's makeup. And I don't think in terms of masculine or feminine. Now, I can tell that some things are more traditionally feminine and some things are more more traditionally masculine. I don't feel any different now than I do if I'm wearing a full face of makeup and glitter. It is all exactly the same to me. And people don't seem to understand that. They seem to think that, oh, when I'm doing this, I'm being this, and when I'm doing that, I'm being that, and I'm not. I am always 100% of the time being me. And I kind of, that's what I'm trying to share with the world, is the fact that you can be yourself, and yourself can have many facets, and other people are going to want to pigeonhole you into things because that's how it makes sense to them. And the reality is the world probably isn't designed to make sense to anybody. Elements are, some people will understand some things better than other things, but the more you try to make it something, the more likely you are to be incorrect. And I really don't like being incorrect. I'd rather believe things in the most accurate way possible. So I understand, and I understood from a long time ago, that homosexuality and things of that nature were absolutely a natural existence because it occurs in so many different species to about the same percentage. Now, I don't know how that would seem unnatural to anybody in the world when it is so consistent, but that's just the reality. That's the reality of knowledge and science. Now, that does not mean that down the road, in 20 years from now, they're going to discover new things that make what I believe now incorrect. But the way things stand right here, right now, by the experts that have the actual knowledge and not people that are just going, I don't want that to be true, so therefore I just don't accept it. Things are what they are, and I believe that I am pretty accurate in my knowledge base. But things keep surprising me. People will always, always end up surprising me. Sometimes for the better, frequently for the not so much better. But that's just the way it goes. So that's the thing. So getting back to the Schrodinger theory of sexuality, which isn't a thing, but it's how I put it, where everybody in the world is equally gay, straight, bi, pan, etc. until they reveal themselves to be otherwise. Because until they do, I'm just assuming things. And I've assumed many persons been straight that hasn't. I've assumed many people have been gay that haven't. You know, there's lots of people that I did not realize were trans, and this is where I understand personally, from my own personal point of view, of why I think trans men are men. I have met a few that I did not know were trans at the time. I was very much attracted to them because they're very, very masculine, very manly, very handsome, very everything that I find appealing in a person. Excuse me. And then when I find out that they are trans, and have different body parts that I'm usually attracted to, it was not a deal breaker. I still thought they were equally hot. I still thought of them as men. So them having female genitalia did not change the fact that these were men that were in front of me. These were men that I was attracted to. They just happened to be men with a different body part than I was accustomed. And the fact that I was still attracted to them, and it wasn't a deal breaker, is what told me they were men. Because I've never, ever thought of women in a sexual way. That's just not how I think of women. I know that they're beautiful and stunning, and I like, dressing them up, and like, I don't know, like they're basically just Barbie dolls to me for my existence. Now that does not mean I think of them as shallow. They're Barbie dolls with incredible mental capacities. Everybody that knows me knows that I have the opposite belief. I believe women are smarter than men. There is no reason for me to believe this. It is certainly not based on anything factual. That is just my own personal belief that women are inherently smarter than men. So I prefer a female doctor. I prefer, well, anything where I need somebody with a good mental capacity, I prefer a woman to be in that role. That's just how it is. They're the only ones that have ever proven to be that kind of intelligent to me. There's plenty of smart men. I'm not dissing anybody. Just as a rule, if I am going to make those kind of hasty generalizations and those kind of assumptions, and they're really not based on any kind of reality. Everybody has these kind of things, I think, to some degree or another, where they have their own beliefs based on nothing apropos other than that's just what they believe. And I'm sure that a lot of homophobia and things like that can come from the same kinds of things. So I'm not saying it's good. It's not inherently good, but that is where my biases lie. I am biased to the side that women are smarter. Based on the doctors I have gone to. Like, that's really it. It's like, I'm trying to think, like, where did that come from for me? Exclusively from doctors that I've gone to throughout my life. The female doctors have consistently proven themselves to be better problem solvers than the male doctors I've gone to. Like, those are my facts. Now, that fact doesn't apply to doctors across the board. It's just literally my experience, but that is my experience. And that's where my biases come from. Now, I'm well aware they are a bias. I'm well aware that they are not based on anything factual. So that is also really important. I wish the people that were homophobic would also realize that and be as self-aware as I am. Because I understand that these things happen. But we also have to understand, like, where that's helpful to us and where it just does not apply. Like, I had to learn that I could still trust male doctors going in because they are smart, they are capable. But deep down, if I have a choice between two doctors and one of them's a woman, I know where my pick always goes, based on nothing real, just my personal feelings. So I really do understand how feelings do affect the choices we make and how we take these feelings and try to assign them as facts to things. But they're not. They're not facts. They are just our feelings and our opinions, and they are valid, but they are what they are. And that's really important to keep in mind. Self-awareness is a very, very useful skill to develop. The only reason I believe someone could be interested in someone else's sexuality is if they are looking to breed with them. Like sexuality or gender. Like if you're interested in that about somebody else because you're unsure. Like if you're uncertain, you're probably not attracted to them. If you are attracted to them, it doesn't really matter what they are, unless you're trying to breed with them. So anybody that is expressing an interest in my sexuality or my gender or anything like that, my first assumption has to be, oh, they want to breed with me. Otherwise, this is a non-issue. Right? Like that, it's really quite that it's really quite that simple for me, because it's either that or it would be irrelevant. Everything else is irrelevant. I started understanding that, like, it's so common when you meet somebody and they go, oh, your dog, very cute. Is it a boy or a girl? And I'm thinking, well, unless you're trying to create puppies with another dog, what difference does it make? So my standard response is, Well, he was born a boy, but now he's non-gender specific. Because once he got fixed, it was irrelevant. He has no ability to reproduce with anybody, any dog. So I don't get why people want to know. I don't go around asking if it's a boy dog or a girl dog or a boy cat or a girl cat. Now, I have to avoid my all dogs are boys and all cats are girls kind of mentality that pops into my head from time to time that I have always known is inaccurate, but I often call cats her and dogs he for no reason other than growing up I thought of dogs as masculine and cats as feminine, and there's no real basis for that. It's just something that innately got into me that I had to actively become aware of, and now I am pushing that out of me because I find it is absolutely ridiculous to have these things that, you know, that are on automatic. Like, I don't mind having that thought. I don't want that to be my automatic going, oh, look at her, she's so cute, when it's just a boy cat, right? But the fact remains, it is irrelevant whether it's a boy or a girl unless you are trying to breed with it. I don't understand why people want to have baby sex reveals parties. That I find very weird. You know, like if you want to, good, as long as it's, you know, okay for the environment. You're not doing something where you're putting up toxic paint, shooting it up into the air or things of that nature. I mean, I really have no reason to care if you're not creating harm for anybody else. But I find it a really, really weird thing because you cannot possibly be having a gender reveal because that hasn't been established by the child yet. So all you can literally have is a child's sex organ reveal party, which sounds really disturbing when you think about it. Like, because that's the reality. Like, that's the reality. People are going, I want everybody to know what genitals my child has. And I'm sorry, I just find that to be the creepiest, grossest, strangest thing that I could possibly think of. But, you know, I'm not going to judge other people because maybe there's some other reason that it's really important to them. I just can't fathom it. So I just find that strange. I find, you know, of all the grooming behaviors, it's like, let's just lock this in while they're nice and young, even though it doesn't mean a darn thing to anyone other than themselves. But I digress. I'm going to let everybody go now. I can't imagine how long this video may end up being because we're at 35 minutes and I don't know if I shut up enough to cut stuff out. So until the next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.